I know I'm late. Only by a couple minutes, though. Only by a couple of minutes, so not too bad. Sorry, I was busy stuffing my face. I got back from my walk late, and I didn't do meal prep on Sunday, which kind of got everything I needed for meal prep. I just didn't do meal prep, so yo, what's up? Early watch chat. Jesus, long time no see, buddy. If you want a link, um, let me know. I just need to know what like email or something to send it to because I send everything through Discord these days. But I'll send you an email. I don't care. I just don't remember what your email is. Um, but yeah, so was running back from a walk late after work and just fucking failed to prep accordingly. So I had to cook everything real quick before this chat. What's up, Dwayne Christensen? Hello, sir. Hello. But it didn't have just like usual, guys. Not a shit ton of topics coming into this chat, but figured we try to keep it maybe a little bit lighter. I know lately it's been a lot of doom and gloom into the world. Everything's coming to an end. There's no happiness to be had anymore. Everything is just bleak, dark, grim. So trying to have a chat to, if you guys want to talk about politics, guns, the state of the world, I'm fine with that too. Like whatever you guys, that's what this chat's for, is whatever you guys want to talk about. But I figured I'd probably touch on some of the lighter topics, if you will. Um, so one thing I found out right before this chat, actually, while I was cooking, a little bit of geek stuff, if we want to dive into that. But Deadpool 3, I guess, is coming out in September of 24. So, I mean, granted, it sucks. We have to wait. Or no, September next year, maybe. Maybe it's September of next year. So granted, we have to wait a year or so for it. Now I'm going to be hesitant on myself. Let's see here. Shit, it's September of 24. God damn it. Okay, so it is 2 years. So that's not so great. We have to wait 2 years. But silver lining is it is confirmed that, and I don't know to what extent. I don't know how big of a part he's going to play or anything like that. But we are getting Wolverine back. Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine. Have I ever watched the trailer for Deadpool 3? I think I watched like a teaser trailer that they had out like a couple months back, I want to say. But I don't remember there really being anything in it. And the problem is they've like all these movies now. I miss, and maybe you guys can confirm with this, but like I miss back in the olden days, you had a trailer, maybe two, and like when I say two trailers, like one would probably be like a teaser and one would actually be the trailer, and that was it. Nowadays, you have like 2 or 3 teasers, you have like 2 or 3 trailers, you have trailers coming out like a week before the movie. It's just like, God, fucking give me one. I want some surprise going into the movie, right? Like you want to hit the big points. I get it, to buy people in, but like after that, oh, a Honda has appeared.
Hey, buddy, how's it going?
What's up? Not too bad.
Nothing. I was just hanging out for a bit before I got to make dinner here, and I saw a link, and I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I figured I'd fire off links to everybody. I forgot to mention it last night. I was so fucking out of it yesterday.
Yeah.
I I was sick over the weekend and stuff, so I was just like, oh, I still recuperating yesterday, but um, yeah, was just doing a quick early chat before Matt's chat. Whenever the fuck he runs it on, I don't even remember what time he starts up on Tuesdays anymore, but um, we were just talking briefly about Deadpool 3.
Oh yeah, and how they're gonna have Hugh Jackman in there.
Yep, Hugh Jackman. But the movie doesn't come out for 2 more years. It comes out September, almost 2 more years. September 6th of 24 is when it's releasing.
Are they already like filming it and shit, or how does that work?
I'm assuming so. I mean, I know Hugh Jackman's not old, but he's still old. So it's
And
like,
he's getting up there.
yeah, like he's got to be in his 50s by now. So But
how old is Hugh Jackman? 53. That's not that old. He's like
that's not
13.
that old.
He's 13
Yeah.
years older than me, dude.
Yeah, that's not that old then. I thought for some reason he was older than that. Maybe it's because like I was looking at from. I mean, the last movie I think I saw him in was Logan. They aged him up so much, so
Yeah,
maybe that.
they totally aged him up, and they can probably age him down just as easy.
Yeah, so that's probably why then. That's not too bad. But and then we were talking about someone had dropped in the chat like talking about if I'd seen the latest trailer, and I was like, I don't even keep track of trailers anymore because nowadays like movies have 3 teasers, they have 4 trailers. I'm like, I miss the old days where it was like you got 1 trailer, maybe a teaser and a trailer, and that was it. Like nowadays you get the
I feel like
teaser
the
before
movies
the
these
trailer.
days, like back in the day, like a romantic comedy, let's say, would have enough money in the theater to just barely cover the production cost. But then they would make enough money on the back end through VHS and DVD sales and things like that to where it would make the films viable. Versus nowadays, if something's not big enough in the theaters to make the money that they need, they don't make it. So maybe that's why like they have like all the extra like hype and teasers and trailers and shit. Is like if they're gonna go through all the money in production to put that together, they need to have like some semblance of a guarantee to make their money back,
Yeah, that makes sense because I mean, streaming has. I mean, granted, I know you can still buy DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff like that, but streaming has drastically cut that down on those profit levels. So that makes sense. And I mean, I know that these movie companies and stuff like that, they get some money from like the Netflix and Amazon shit for streaming them there, but still, whatever.
Well, I mean, music industry is the same way. Like, I think it was Timcast. They came out with that song that they released, and they sold 12,000 copies, right? Which was number 2 on the billboards. It used to be hundreds of thousands of copies would make you like in the top 10, and now 12,000 is number 2.
Yeah.
Like it's just a completely different thing because everyone gets shit for free and you can just stream it and who cares, and you know what I mean?
Yep. Yep. What's up, Exit 343? What's up, Corey? How you
What's
doing?
going on, gentlemen?
Yeah.
Just out running some errands right now.
Dude,
nice.
I was looking for your I guess I'm not subscribed to your YouTube channel. What's the name of it?
Who,
Me?
for Corey?
No, you, Angry, for this chat right now.
Oh, it's just Angry Platypus.
I searched that and like
So,
okay.
so it should be under it's Angry and then my last name Plattapus.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah, it's not an actual I didn't spell platypus properly. I spelled it as a play on words. Yep, Plattapus.
Okay. Channels. Still not finding it. Dude, can you drop a link to your fucking channel in the chat or something? I'm sorry.
No, that's all good, man.
I had trouble finding his channel not too long ago either, so it doesn't really pull up. I think you have to scroll down a little bit in order to see your platypus icon.
That probably makes sense. I stood in the side chat there.
Okay.
But that makes sense. But yeah, trying to think what else I was talking about or gonna be covering. I didn't write shit down, so if anyone has topics, come full forth. I know I hopped off the chat early last night. I didn't hear what else. I didn't get a chance to watch the rest of it today, so don't know what else you guys covered. But
mostly FBI bullshit stories about them being assholes and liars, and then the whole like leftist media saying, well, because they want to get rid of the FBI, which I think is absolutely justified in light of the FBI's indiscretion and obvious fucking partisanship when it comes to politics. that they're just basically they're beyond the pale. They're no longer a relevant equitable organization of the government, and hence should be disbanded. But since we think that, like, we're terrorists or something, or we're like anti-American because we don't want a Gestapo in this country, I don't know.
I mean, I'm all for getting rid of all of the 3-letter agencies. Heck, maybe even most of the 4.
Yep, same here.
But that's just me. What do we got here in the side chat? Exit 343. Okay, Rings of Power. Honestly, like, I've tried to I've watched it every single week, but I'm gonna ride it out till the end. I think hopefully only have a couple more episodes left, and then I might binge watch it all at once and see if that's any better. But right now, I'm not impressed.
Yeah, I think I keep hearing not so good things about it from people. So I might just wait like you and just watch it all at once.
What might have been my downfall is like the first, because I got into it late, because the first 2 or 3 episodes had already been out when I started watching it. So I tried to kind of binge those, but I was binging them like while I was doing other shit. So I don't think I got to give it all the attention it necessarily deserved. And now I'm just kind of like, what's going on? Why do I care about these people? So that might just be a me issue.
I just don't like how they didn't have the rights to go into the Silmarillion and the unwritten tales, or the unfinished tales is what it's called. Like, they don't have the copyright rights to do that. So they're just like, you know what? We'll just make a Tolkien-esque story.
So
we'll make Galadriel like a knight or something instead of, you know what I mean? Like, you guys fucking screwed the pooch.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. And to be fair, like, usually I go full into lore on stuff like this. Like, I did that with Lord of the Rings, or not Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones and like Warhammer and stuff like that. So maybe it's just because growing up, I read Lord of the Rings, I read The Hobbit, but like I never jumped into the whole history of Middle Earth and stuff. So maybe if I did that, it would affect me also more. But Early Watch asks, is Rings of Power woke garbage, or would you recommend? I can't say it's necessarily woke. I haven't really seen that aspect of it yet. It's just not entertaining for me because I just don't care about anybody right now. Again, maybe if I binge watch it all, I'll feel different. But hey, Tara.
I don't know. My whole point with that is, like, Tolkien spent years and years and years of his time thinking these stories out and connecting them together and giving them like several layers of meaning, like all of these things that he put into it. And they're just going to, like, off the cuff, just write some shit and be like, yeah, that's the story now. It's like, dude, you should have had the rights to go and actually make the shit the way it's supposed to be,
Yeah, it's tough on that type of stuff when you don't have. I mean, I can give them. You would think someone like Amazon too would have enough money to get those rights, but again, like, sometimes people just don't want to give it up. So I see it on both sides. Like, it sucks, but at the same time, it's tough when you don't have the rights to have to try to fill that gap. There's no excuse for shows that have the rights and just choose to go off on their own anyway. Like, that pisses me off to a nth degree. But yeah, Exit 343 says they really compress the second age. I'm still watching, but shit don't happen. Yeah, that's like the last episode I watched. I finally figured out who Sauron was. I was like, oh, he's that looking dude. Okay. Like, really not scary looking, but all right.
Which one's Sauron?
Like, they have him as like this like dark-haired elf guy. At least that's what
I was confused though, because there's like I don't remember. I only watched the first 2 episodes. It's either Gandalf or Sauron. I was thinking the guy who like showed up in the little hobbit-like people that they can't call hobbits because they don't have the rights to call them hobbits.
Yeah,
or, like,
that was
helping out.
That was fucking with me too, because I'm like, I'm pretty sure these are hobbits, but they're not calling them hobbits. So I'm like, am I missing something here? Like, is this another race of people that are hobbit-esque?
But there was definitely that visualization of when he came in on like the asteroid or whatever it was that crashed to the ground. The visualization from above was the eye of Sauron, and he was in the middle of the iris, and that made me think that maybe he's not Gandalf, maybe he's fucking, you know.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about, like the weird guy, like he doesn't really speak English and stuff.
And when he was like fucking with the fireflies, then they all died, you know?
Yep.
It's like that's not something Gandalf would do.
No. Yeah, so there's just stuff that I'm like, I gotta go back, and as I said, I'll finish it out, but like I just really need to go back and rewatch it, like spend the time to binge watch it and just try to piece everything together and give it a proper chance. Unlike
season 2 of it.
Man, I don't know. Like the reviews it's getting, I do not know.
Amazon likes to cancel shit.
Yeah. They do. Yeah,
they really do.
With the way it's going, I don't think season 2 is going to be in the foreseeable future.
And how much are they spending per episode? It's like 10 million or some shit like that.
It's a lot of money. It is a very big expense for them, and it is not getting anywhere near the following that I think they thought it would get.
So 10 episodes is like $100 million worth of production. Like, dude, you're not going to get $100 million out of this show.
No, I would be shocked.
It wasn't done right in the first place.
If they did it right, then yes. But they, they just didn't have the source material from the beginning, and they're cucking it.
Yep. I mean, you can look at it too and be like, and that's the thing, like just nothing is happening in that show. It's just hard to follow. Nothing's happening. Which, I mean, you could say the same thing for like perfect example, another show that's out right now that was very slow the first couple episodes, but at least there was lore and entertainment, was Andor. Like I watched the first 3 episodes of Andor, and not a lot happens those first 3 episodes. It is very nonchalant, not a whole hell of a lot's going on, but it's building story, you're learning characters, you're at least getting a background. With this, it just felt like, what? Who cares? Well, and then they're hopping around so much too. It's just like, fuck.
To be fair though, the Silmarillion, the way that it's written, God, dude, like you have to have an encyclopedia index of weird names and weird places that have names that are weird, and like to actually like read through that and understand it. Like I don't know anyone who's done it. So
gotcha. Okay, yeah, I've never read, so it keeps me watching is Durin and Elrond.
So are y'all caught up on House of Dragon?
Yes. Yep. Finished that.
What did y'all think about this recent episode with the time jump and shit?
I liked it. I mean, I know why they have to have that time jump, because it is getting. I know the lore in that much more, so I know what is coming.
Right.
So I have a feeling because shit pops off once the king dies. Spoiler alert. I mean, it kind of alludes to that's going to happen.
Oh yeah, if you ever watch Game of Thrones itself, you know pretty much what's going to happen, just because how they talked about what happened in the past, especially like Stannis Baratheon's daughter teaching the Onion Knight or the Onion whatever, how to read, and she was telling the stories of what happened in the past. So you should already know.
Yeah, so like shit's gonna pop off once he dies. I have a feeling the way they're pacing it, he'll probably either die the very last episode or the second to last episode.
Yeah.
And that'll kick off
a cliffhanger for the second season.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously not a. I mean, some stuff happened this past episode. We got somewhat of a background. I enjoyed it. It stuck well to the story. I don't know if
I really wasn't impressed with it, and I'm damn sure I do not like the chick that they picked for the older Rhaenyra.
She's not
as fair though. She spent the entire episode giving birth. Like you didn't really get to see her be like an actress or do anything.
That's the
I
thing.
tell
Like
you, that was pretty badass on her part to sit there and just give birth and drop the fucking placenta and then start walking to the king queen chambers, man, bleeding the whole
yeah,
fucking way.
yeah.
That takes a lot of strength, man.
She's a badass character. I mean, I agree. Like that actress didn't, but again, she didn't really have a chance to really do anything. So I'm not holding that against her yet. I think it's
Right.
going to be tough because the one that was the younger version of her did so well. It's
Yep.
going to be tough to kind of sit there and go, oh shit, okay.
Yo, is that
but-
giant dragon that burnt that bitch alive because she couldn't give birth to the baby and was going to die? Is that the same dragon whose skeleton is inside of the dragon keep or whatever?
I think so.
I believe so. I think so because that dragon does. I think
Yeah.
it gets passed on to one of the daughters, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong on that.
I
but
think you're right, but yes, it's in the red keep underneath whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
Yep.
Robert Baratheon had it moved underneath because it was inside the throne room
yep,
at one point.
yep. So, yeah, that thing's fucking massive. That's a big ass lizard.
Now I have a question about that particular scene that was just mentioned about I can't remember her fucking name. She's one that was supposed to marry the queen but didn't. But to be a dragon rider, you have to be a dragon yourself, right? To means you like Khaleesi, she was unburned. She couldn't be burned by the fire.
You don't
So
have
what
to be a
she-
dragon. Yeah, so you don't have to be a dragon yourself. You have to be a Targaryen to
Oh,
be
okay.
a dragon rider. So, well, you have to have Targaryen blood in you to be a dragon rider.
So it doesn't necessarily mean that you're a dragon rider, you can't be burned. 'Cause
Correct.
I was a little confused about that because I thought just from Game of Thrones, and I might have missed that, little tidbit about it, but I was just under the impression that if you were a dragon rider, you couldn't be burned. So therefore, how did she get burned alive?
Oh yeah, no, you're gonna see a lot more of those fuckers. Yeah, a lot more of those people are gonna get cooked. So yeah, that very few of them are immune to fire and heat and stuff like that. So
Yeah, we
but
already saw that Varys, the king, he's immune to fire. And I want to say Rhaenyra is too, but they kind of stopped it right before she grabbed the knife. So it's leading, whether she is or isn't.
yeah, I don't know with her if she is. I don't remember. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the episode. I know we still have like one more outside of the king. Obviously, we still have like one more kind of major character who has to die off before him. Just to set up stuff properly if they follow the lore. So that'll probably happen this next episode, I imagine.
Probably.
And then, yeah.
And
like
then that one brother, how he just fucking killed his brother and father, man, that was just gnarly.
Yeah. I was gonna say I like that cripple guy. Like he's the most devious person in the whole show so far.
Yeah.
He's basically this era's Littlefinger is the best way to put him. He is very much out for himself, switches alliances, whatever he needs to do. I tell you what though, I don't know if I'd take that deal of the whole getting my tongue cut off for the
rather than dying.
That was fucked up.
I don't know.
That's
rather than
yeah.
It was kind of it's kind of tough. I'd have to really be in the moment. Like,
I feel like you can still like make words with your tongue cut out, right? Like I was at the dentist yesterday and they had all the tools in my mouth and I'm like, but they could still understand me, you know?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's like the old miner guy from Blazing Saddles. The sheriff is near. So yeah, that's true. But I enjoyed it, and I mean, again, it was one of those episodes that, like, I mean, not a whole hell of a lot happened, I guess, but enough happened. So, what else? Can't think of anything else going on right now. Fuck. Oh, I finally got my approval after 2 months. I get to go down tomorrow and get my CCW permit, get my picture taken, everything like that. Fucking almost 2 months. So that's been fun. Got to fill that out. everything's online, so I had to do it online, fill out the form, provide the background check information, and then just sit there and wait, like pay for it, and then just sit and wait. And now it's like, okay, now you can come down, but I have to be there. They're only open between Monday through Friday between 8 and 4. Of course, like hours people work. So I have to go down on my lunch. Thankfully, it's only, 20 minutes down the road. I have to go down my lunch break, find parking, run in there, get my photo taken, run home. So probably a little bit late on my lunch break tomorrow, but it's fine, whatever.
Did you see someone like cut the Nord Stream pipeline in the middle of the Baltic Sea?
No.
Here, check this out. This was released by the Danish military. This is Danish military has released volatile footage of mysterious frothing disturbance in the Baltic Sea in the vicinity of the Nord Stream pipeline. And the story is that it was done on purpose, that it was sabotage, that whoever did it to like fuck with Russia or something.
Interesting.
But that's a lot of fucking oil, like
going into the ocean. Yeah, that's a big humanitarian effort now that's going to be going on the Baltic Sea.
Yep.
Which that's only going to make everyone happy because, Russia's going to be looking at everyone that's doing humanitarian. Jesus. God damn it.
Yep.
No. Fuck.
Well, plus, what is that going to do to oil prices? What's that going to do to oil prices locally at your gas pump when the Nord Stream pipeline is fucking broken and shut down and they got to go through the whole operation of fixing it? And how long does that take? And how backlogged are the oil reserves of the countries that rely on that pipeline in the meantime?
Yep.
Your gas is going to shoot right the fuck back up, and there's not a fucking thing that Biden can do about it because he already blew his load last time.
Yep. Yay. Well. Fuck.
Yep.
Might as well stock up now. Get a couple 5-gallon drums or 5-gallon cans, stick them in my apartment. Don't we have enough oil reserves here in the U.S.? Exit 343 is asking. Not really. I mean, most of our oil reserves are for more like military stuff, and Old Sleepy tapped into those for the last thing, so.
Jesus Christ, you can't show this on your channel. Have you seen what the Muslims are doing to Christians in Nigeria right now? And
no, but I'm assuming
British
not.
Army is there, and they don't really care because they're looting the mineral resources, and as long as they continue to get the mineral resources, like whatever the Muslims do is fine.
But I can imagine it's not good.
It is disgusting to watch.
I believe that. It's Nigeria.
Yeah, I believe it too. I can only imagine without seeing the video, because I've seen other videos of how they get treated. It's disgusting.
Yeah. It's just as bad, if not worse, than you think.
Oh, I'm sure it's probably worse than what I think, but.
Yep. But as long as they're getting as long as big government's getting their minerals and shit, who cares, right?
Right. Okay. Fucking idiots! I swear to God.
Yeah.
Sorry, dumbasses.
No. You can.
I'm currently driving right now, and I'm waiting for this slow motherfucker to just turn, and it's like, come on, give it a little gas, you dumbass.
I had that happen on Sunday because I went out to get grocery shopping done. I was sitting there, and it's a red light, and you can take a direct left, or you can kind of take like an angled left that's up a little bit, which hits the main street. And so we're turning that way, and this person in front of me like has a crossover, so nothing fancy, like nothing you have to worry about tipping. And light turns green instead of just going. And I'm not saying you have to launch your vehicle, but like instead of just going, they're taking the corner. So I'm just like, fucking like unless you have a tray of hot coffee in your lap and you can't spill at all, like can't have any rocking at all, there's no need to be moving that slow. I'm just like,
exactly, yeah.
Go.
So there's something that 100% of the people who drive slow in the fast lane have something in common. Every single one of them has ass cancer. Every one of them. Fuck them.
And they're all assholes.
I was wondering where he was going with that, and I am not disappointed. So, yeah. Oh God. Or it pisses me off because, and this is partially me because I'm a child. So the turnpike that goes up north that I take almost every weekend when I'm traveling up there. There's one section on it that's a tunnel. I want to say the tunnel is maybe a little bit. It's not quite half a mile. I'd say maybe like 4/10, something like that of a mile. But it's decent length, right? So maybe it is a half mile. I don't know if I can care. We'll just say it's a half mile for ease. But I don't know about you guys, but like when I hit a tunnel, I do the whole thing of like being a child and I hold my breath. And the last couple times I've gone through, it's like people are going through, they're doing 70, 80 miles an hour up to the tunnel. They hit the tunnel, they're like, oh, I got to slow down to 45 miles an hour because I don't fucking know, magic or some shit. I don't understand it. I'm sitting there behind them, like holding my breath, just screaming through my teeth. It's not fun.
What gun would you really want to own, but you really would not want to shoot?
What gun? That's a tough one. I'd probably say
Probably have to be something like. Okay, honestly, I think that I guess it's Bond Arms with that Derringer that's in what is it? 40 not what
4570.
4570.
Yep, the
Yeah.
Alaskan Survival or whatever it is.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's actually a cool fucking gun, but it's small of a grip. Don't know if I really want to shoot it because I shot a 500, I shot a 50 AE, and people that you see on the videos on YouTube and shit, it bouncing them, hitting them in the fucking face. That's just because they're not holding it properly and expecting the recoil. So, I mean, for me, those weren't bad at all. I actually enjoyed shooting them. But that 4570 on the other hand, I don't know, but it'd be cool to own.
I was going a different way with that. Like, I didn't even think about that aspect of like a gun that would just not be fun to shoot because it would hurt you. I was thinking more like a rare antique gun that you wouldn't want to shoot because something might break on it and then you'd have to fucking replace it or whatever.
I was doing both. Like I was weighing both sides when I was thinking about it because I'm like, I love heavy recoil stuff, and like even those 4570 Derringers, like I want to shoot one once. Now, will I want to shoot it a second time? Probably not, but I want to shoot one at least once. But then I was thinking like maybe like some of those big bore, like the 700 Nitro Express like elephant rifles. Maybe one of those I don't really want to shoot. I don't know. But then on the other side, I was thinking like I'd love to shoot some like cool old like antique gun, but at the same time, like, is the ammo gonna be so rare, or is it gonna be something where it's like, oh shit, I broke this like piece of history, and then feel really bad about it. So I'd probably lean more like the older gun, something like, I don't know. I'd love to have an old like Martini Henry, honestly. I think they're just cool guns, but I know no one makes modern ammo for it, so you have to essentially reload your own. But even finding brass, you can't really find brass, so you have to like turn your own brass for it and stuff. So something like that I would be very terrified to shoot because one little miscalculation, that gun's destroyed, and now it's like you can't fix them. Like something like that breaks, it's like, okay, like they're not making replacement Martini Henry parts, so.
I was thinking like a World War II German Luger or like a Sturmgewehr or something like that, like something that is sufficiently rare that if a part breaks on it, it's like, where are you going to find another Sturmgewehr firing pin or whatever,
Yeah.
Plus Sturmgewehrs aren't very they're not known for their I don't know, durability anyway. They're kind of like prone to break. So if you have one and you're shooting it, it's kind of like, dude, you're dumb. And then 8mm Kurz is like impossible to find also.
Yeah, something like that, or like the FG42s, or the like G43s. I always thought G43s were awesome, like cool rifles. That's the semi-auto German rifle of World War II. But then the more I've done research on it, I guess they were, because some of them were built very late in the war, and so very poor castings, and so you really have to be careful with those because they're known for like cracking receivers and stuff. And I mean, you crack a receiver, that gun's done for.
I've
So
shot an FG42 though, like that Dragon Man machine gun shoot. They had one that was demilled that they put back together and like basically fucking re-welded it and then used like the parts that they re-welded, like the welding bead or whatever they had to shape it to make the rail and stuff. Like, dude,
Jesus.
it was like someone with some welding skill put that thing together. But yeah, dude, they were shooting the fuck out of that thing.
Exit 343S. What was the gun that Dirty Harry had? You had to fold in half to reload. You had to fold in half to reload. Because I know he had the Smith & Wesson 29. That's the go-to, like, Dirty Harry gun. I know in the one he had, like, a 44 auto mag.
Yeah, he had the 44 auto mag and he had the 44 Magnum revolver. Those are the only two guns that he had.
Yeah, those are the only two that I can think of that he ever had.
Yeah, I would love to own a old Vickers gun.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Or like a scope. Is he thinking of a Schofield?
Maybe that's what he's thinking. Something that's like break top.
But yeah, Dirty Harry didn't shoot a Schofield.
No, I'm trying to think like if he ever used like some sort of Derringer or something, but I don't think he did. Yeah, I don't know what guy he's talking about.
Is he talking about like what is it? The company that makes it, is it Webley or something like that with the brake action?
Yeah, well, Webley's are break. Yeah, Webley's are break action. The old Smith and Wessons, Model 3s, the Schofields, those were all break top. I know there's like a modern Russian 357 revolver that's a break. I want to say it's like the Rex something or other. That's a break top. But those all went away because like as you step up in power levels, it's a weak point. That break top part of it's a weak point in the firearm. So yeah, I'm trying to think. I'd have to know which movie and stuff to even remotely look it up, but
yeah. But I do know when filming that, he used the 44 mag, the iconic Dirty Harry gun.
Yep.
It was actually they used more of the 41 while filming, right?
Yeah, I think originally they used, because I know for the original one, they're trying to pimp out the Model 29, but originally like they couldn't get the longer barrel one, so they actually had a shorter barrel one.
Mm-hmm.
And then like halfway through filming, they got the longer, so like it changes or something. And then I think for other ones, they're like, oh yeah, it's just because after that movie came out, like everyone wanted the Model 29. So then they're like, oh shit, well, it's just easier to get these, 41 specials or like 41 Magnums and use those instead. Okay, so exit 343 said the auto mag. Yeah. So the auto mag, they're actually, I think I saw something that auto mag, like someone bought it out and is like re-releasing the company and they're re-coming out with auto mags and stuff.
Yeah.
So that'll be cool.
Yeah, I heard that too, that they were going to start reproducing them again. So that'd be cool to see if they can do it right and get it to market.
I know I saw Forgotten Weapons did like a video on the new ones, and I guess they run a lot better than the old, because the old ones were very finicky. Like each one was custom built basically, so you had to use like custom loaded ammo to get them to run right and stuff, and each one was a little bit different than the other. So I heard the new ones are very smooth across the line. I mean, they're going to be expensive, let's face it, but it's cool.
Is the Automac the one that came out with the 30 carbine pistol?
Believe so. Yes.
I forget the name of the company. I don't think it's Auto. Is it Automag? I thought Automag. I guess I don't know.
I can't remember because Demolition Dipshit has one of the. I actually think he had a couple of the Automags, and I could have sworn that one of them was the 30 carbine.
Let's see.
What's
Well,
his
look,
name?
I know there's a couple companies that did, but I think Automag was the one that had the one that it looks like a 19. It's not quite a 1911, but kind of looks like a 1911. But yeah, they had the 30 carbine one because that was back in the 80s, like when their company finally fell through. I know there was also a company like Kimball or something that was very short-lived that had 30 carbine semi-auto pistols that looked kind of like the old school like 22 target pistols, only obviously way beefed up. But
Yeah, I remember that company too. I've heard of it, and like you said, it was short lived. So
yeah, it was really.
I don't fucking remember, honestly. I just think that pistol was actually cool, and that would be something that I would like to have and just shoot. But with it being as old as it is, it's probably not a lot of aftermarket support for it. So
Oh,
something broke, it's
none.
like, fuck.
It's zero. Maybe
Yeah.
grips, maybe. But like, yeah, pretty much zero. Yeah, 30 carbine would be cool. Like, it would be cool to have more pistols in that because I mean, I like matching things up with pairs. So if you already have like a 30 carbine, like a M130 carbine or something like that, to have a pistol to go with it. And I know who is it? Ruger makes like a Black Hawk or something like that in 30 carbine, but it's like it's single action. It's not as cool.
Yeah, I'm kind of like that too. I like to match a rifle with a pistol.
Yep. Oh, Early Watch had in here the AMT Automag 3. Yep.
Okay.
I've got a 357. I mean, I've got a couple 357 revolvers, but then I've also got a 357 lever gun, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's a good combination.
I need a 350 because I have a 357 revolver, but I need a 350, and I have a 38 revolver. I need a 357 lever gun. It's like every time I find lever guns, they're always in 30-30. I'm just like, fuck, I don't need that. I need a 357 38 one.
The cheapest,
but then
cheapest one's the Rossi 92.
Well, then when I finally find one, like it's when I don't have money. Yeah. It's like PSA AKs. It's like, oh, I have money. I want to go buy a PSA AK. Sold out, not in stock, yada yada yada. It's like, okay. And then I go spend my money on something else like vacation, or I have to buy Christmas presents for people or whatever. And it's like, oh, guess what we have in stock again? Yay. And then as soon as I get money again, they sold out. Yeah. It's just like, fuck, I'm just not meant to have it. So one day.
I don't have a 357 revolver yet, and that's honestly my next purchase is going to be. I do want a 357 revolver. I've looked at the Kimber K6S double action single action one. I just like the way it looks, and I've actually handled one a couple of times, and I just love the way it looks and feels in my hand. But I also, on the other hand, want a fucking 686 plus. I think those are just beautiful revolvers.
686 plus is a nice gun. It's fucking heavy, but that makes shooting it like pretty freaking nice.
Yeah,
I used to have a God. It was another Rossi. It was the Rossi 8 something. I forget the number. I sold it, but that was a great little gun for the price. I mean, I think the Rossi was like $400-ish for a 357 revolver.
I got mine. Mine's
That's not bad.
Taurus 65, I want to say. I just get confused between the 66. I know, like, Matt has one, I have the other. Mine has the adjustable target sight on the back. And mine's a 4-inch barrel, 357. That I bought used at a gun shop for $240. Like back in 2018, I think it was. Yeah, I was like, as soon as I saw it for the price, I'm like, I'm buying that. It was just complete impulse buy, and now I'm like, I couldn't even attempt to get a 357 that was beat to shit anywhere as close to that price. So,
M66 is what it was. The Taurus M66.
okay, yep.
Couldn't remember what the fuck it was called.
Yeah, I got that, and then like a couple weeks later, I ended up buying my Taurus Model 85 snub nose, which is in 38 special for like just over $200. I was like, oh, these are good. These are a pair together. And now I'm like, fuck, I need the lever gun for it. So I'm gonna have to find like a Rossi or something because keep it Brazilian. Why not?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to settle for.
Oh, good.
I was just gonna say for now, I guess I'll end up having to settle for. And I know Taurus is good, but they've had quality control issues over the years and stuff. But I think that's kind of settled out, right?
Taurus is great.
Oh, yeah.
For the price. It's the thing that sucks about Taurus is their finishes.
Yeah.
So like the parts like fit and finish and all that stuff is just fine. The reliability is just fine. If the thing gets wet, it's going to rust. That's the problem with Taurus.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can say with my older stuff because both of mine are from like the early '80s. I did one's early '80s, one's mid '80s. So I know the newer stuff definitely has the finish issues. I don't know if the older stuff still does, and I can only say that because I've left guns in closets and stuff like that, and just with humidity changes and things like that, I've had stuff rust, so I do have to take them out every couple, months and just clean off some rust here and there, re-oil them, whatever. But those revolvers I've never had an issue with. So maybe like try to see if you can find something that's a little older. You might have a little bit better luck, but
yeah, my local gun stores, it's hit or miss if they actually have a decent selection or not. Because sometimes it's pretty barren, and other times that they have stuff I like, but don't have the money at the moment.
yeah,
So,
that's just the way it goes.
you kind of have to get what you get, especially if it's secondary market.
Yeah, I'll say, yeah, like my local, like to me, the only things I have local gun shops are like, they're not even gun shop. I guess technically they are, but it's like ma and pa,
Pawn
like,
shops.
yeah, it's like a pawn shop. It's more like, oh, we cash checks. You can get lottery tickets here, and we have like guns in the back. But if you want to see them, you have to hop on the website and let us know what you want. Like they're more FFL dealers from the standpoint of you can have your firearm sent here from online, and then just go ahead and pay for it type thing, and we'll bring it out. Like we'll do the transfer for you. So that's more or less what they do. But back home, like up north, there's like a couple gun shops, and I've been to a couple times. But even most of those, like I go into them, and it's just like it's really hit or miss. Like sometimes they're great stock, other times they're just horrible, and it really is half the time I'm like, fuck, the one time I don't have money,
Yeah, I think the next time I have money and I'm looking for something, kind of specific, there's actually a well-known gun shop not too far from me. It's only like maybe an hour or so away from me, and that's Grab a Gun.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So yeah, next time I think that's what I'm gonna do is just try to go there because they always have a lot of shit on their website, but I'd like to see what they look like in person and what they have as far as in-store purchasing.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. That was one of the things that I kicked myself with being up in Arizona is we had JG Sales up there, and like they'd show up to all the gun shows and stuff like that, but I never got up to their actual shop because their actual shop was like an hour and a half north of me. I'm just like, I'm not driving all the way up there for like a 1-day thing, and they had weird hours on Saturday, so I'm like, I'm not doing that. So, but
yeah.
But yeah, I actually did have. I was trying to go through my list here because I remembered I had like a gun selection thing, like a gun question, like what gun would you choose for X? but I forget what it was. So if it comes back to me, I'll ask away. But any other questions out there in the side chat? Exit 343. I got a 357. Can't put more than 8 shots without my wrist breaking. LOL. Well, what is it like a lightweight? Because I know they have like those Smith and Wesson, Smith and West, like the little snub nose 357s and stuff, and those can get annoying. I mean, I know just with my own, some of my snub nose stuff, the 38's not bad. And I've done plus P's through there, and it's fine. I mean, you get nice big fireballs out the front of it. I know with the, I used to have back in the day, oddly enough, you were talking about small grips before, one of those like 22 NAA mini revolvers, and I loved the thing, but it had such a small grip, you could really only get one pinky on it. And so like when you'd fire it, like it would, every single time it'd rock in your hand because it's just like there's nothing to hold on to. Like there's really no recoil to the gun if you actually could get a hand on it, but because you only can hold like one finger on it, it would just rock every single time. It was a pain in the ass to shoot. And then I found out after I sold it that you can get like aftermarket actually like grips for it, like full size grips. I was like, oh, okay, well that would have been something I probably would have actually utilized. So
I like those guns when they have like the grip that the gun folds into, and the grip has like a little clip on it.
Yep.
So it's it's a decent, and maybe not quite a full size grip, but it's a decent size grip. And the gun, when it's in your pocket, is no bigger than that grip.
Yep, that's the one I was talking about, and that's like when I found that out afterwards, I'm like, oh, that would have been nice to have. But yeah, I sold that off to. I mean, it went to a buddy of mine. His kid loves shooting the thing, so he's like, oh, I want to buy this for when I take my kid out plinking and stuff. I was like, all right, well, there you go. Merry Christmas. Actually, I think it was like happy birthday, but still. But yeah, other than that, I don't know. Well, we've been going for close to an hour. We'll probably wrap this up here at the hour mark for everyone.
Yeah, I just finally got back home, so I couldn't see any of the comments that people were commenting.
And it's more people just talking about gun stuff. Yeah, Exit 343 said 4-inch barrel, awesome gun, but she's shooting a 9mm after felt like a BB gun. Yeah, they do. I mean, that's just the way of the beast. Like once you shoot something big, recoil, and then you switch to something smaller, it's like lifting a heavy weight and then lifting a weight that's not so heavy afterwards. You're like, oh, this is easy. I can toss this around all day because I just kicked my ass lifting something heavy. So.
Speaking of BB guns, I'm sure y'all seen them by now, but those, because I know Classic puts on deals and shit for them all the time. I get emails and text messages. But those full auto BB guns, have y'all ever, played around with one of those?
I haven't seen, I've seen like airsoft guns. I haven't seen the full auto BB guns though.
Yeah, they sell on a Classic site.
Interesting.
I get them. I thought about getting them because I think they're under 2, if I remember. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've actually seen it, but I think that'd be kind of cool just to have something to play around with in the backyard, especially for little critters that won't stay off your property.
Do they look like what do they look like? Do they look like ARs?
They almost look like it. Yeah, they look like an AR. It almost looks more like an SBR, to be honest.
Interesting. Yeah, I have not. I've not seen those.
Obviously, they sell the BBs, but they also have the CO2 cartridges for them.
I mean, that might be something fun. I mean, to your point, just to kind of like play around with type aspect. That could be. I have not. I have not seen those before. The only thing I've come even close to that, I guess, would be I did do airsoft for a little bit, and that was a
I didn't do
blast. But
I didn't do airsoft, but I did paintballing for a while.
I
got
did
into
paint,
that when
yeah.
I was younger. I still actually have both of mine. One of them has it's a 2-finger trigger, so you can manipulate it with both fingers. Yeah.
Yep.
Dude, I did paintballing, but I didn't have money for the cool stuff, so I just got my fucking ass worked, and it wasn't fun.
I did paintballing back in the day. That was fun. And then when I was in Arizona, we had an indoor. They had 2 fields actually, both indoor for airsoft. And you could go there, and I think it was like $50 or $60, and you could rent, a mask, a gun, and I think it was 1,000 or 2,000 BBs. Like sometimes they'd run specials where you could get like double. And literally, I mean, even with like 1,000 BBs, you could go and you could run for a couple hours, and it was fun.
Oh yeah, it's definitely fun. There was one time, y'all remember? This is years ago, where they had those reading programs in school, where like if you read so many books at this level, you'd get this prize, and if you read so many books and got points, you'd get the next tier, and so forth, so on.
Yes. Yep.
There was one year where they introduced that, and the very top tier, and I don't remember the pointage. I think it was like you had to read a shit ton of books to get there. And I actually did. I read all the books necessary, and got all the points. And the top prize was that they paid and took the students that met that mark on a paintball tournament.
Oh, that's cool.
And so we got to all go, and there was a bunch of us, probably 20 of us or so. And the principal actually got involved in the paintball tournament. That man got lit up so fucking much that he came out. He went in dressed in his fucking suit like he's in class or something, and came out looking like Polka Dot Man.
Dude, you guys
That
had
was
cool
fucking awesome.
prizes.
We just took our aggression out on the fucking principal right then and there. It was great.
Like the school that I went to, they had like similar program or whatever, but like the prizes were like so fucking lame. Or the other one was like, oh yeah, like sell the chocolate bars to raise money for the school, and if you sell like 10,000 chocolate bars, we'll give you like a $50 toy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the type of shit we would get. It was like, oh, if you do this really good thing, like you get to have a pizza party outside. It was like, oh, cool, yay.
Yeah.
Or like,
Exit 343 said it's accelerator reader program. Yeah, that's what it was.
okay,
And
yeah.
I got the highest point system as well. But yeah, they had some of them where like the right below that, I think you got like $100 gift certificate or some shit.
Yep. Yeah, that's the
But-
type of shit we would get. Was like, oh yeah, you got like a $50 gift certificate, or you got to have like a pizza party outside, or like something. I was like, okay, I guess.
Well, I guess my school was a little cooler, but
Yeah, no
that was
shit.
fucking fun as hell.
Goddamn. Yeah, it
That
sounds
fucking
like
principal was all welted up.
Oh, I bet. That sounds like it'd be fun. That sounds like it'd be fun, but.
You guys are all talking about I got the highest points in junior high and stuff. Motherfucker, I got the most referrals in junior high, so suck it. Like literally, like it was 7th grade you could get referrals, and in 8th grade they turned it into timeouts, right? And a timeout was much easier to get than a referral. And they kept track of your timeouts. And at the end of the year, I had more timeouts than anyone in the school.
Jesus,
my freshman year, I spent 3/4 of the year in ISS.
Oh my God, I remember. So it's so funny, and I saw a meme about this the other day. That because the tiers were like ISS, actual suspension, and then like expelled, right?
Mhm.
So I remember like people all the time would get ISS, and they'd be like, "How about you just give me actual suspension?" Well, I don't think it's that severe that we actually have to suspend you. It's like no one realized, like none of the teachers and shit realized ISS was a bigger like burden than actual, because suspension meant, oh, I can just stay home all day and do whatever the fuck I want. Like no one cares. We're like, ISS, you have to sit in the room. And the teacher that was assigned to it always hated their lives because it was never just one kid in ISS. It was always a couple kids in ISS.
Oh yeah.
And they have to sit there and make sure no one talks and isn't passing notes. And so, like, you'd walk by, and our ISS was like this big glass room. Like, you could just see into it from all directions. Like, there's no walls. It's just a big glass room with a bunch of desks in the middle. And people are passing notes. And every time you'd walk by, like, they're looking at kids and waving. The teacher's yelling at them and shit. Like, it was the biggest clusterfuck ever.
Our ISS, we actually had those brown portable buildings outside the school. That's
okay,
where we went. And what was cool is, I'm sure it was probably the same with you, but they gave you all your classwork for the day at once.
Yep.
And I would blow through that, and I would sleep the rest of the time.
Yeah, it's like extra. Yeah, because you sit there, you don't have to listen to the teacher drone on about stuff. It's just like, okay, here's your classwork. Boom. And you're just like, okay. Like, let me fill out all this shit real quick. There you go.
Right.
And so,
they
like, yeah,
you grabbing a dictionary and handwrite every fucking word in the definition from A to Z. I told them to go, get bent. I'm not doing that, and just slept.
Yeah.
Dude, I used to
They
hate
hated
math
me
class
sleeping.
for the homework because they'd give you like 100 problems, right? And it was for the dumb kids who couldn't fucking understand shit because they got to do it 100 times before they can understand it. But I would do the first problem and be like, oh, that's how it works. Why do I have to do it 99 more times?
Yep. I would, my senior year, like, was real easy for me because my senior year was the year I moved to Pennsylvania. So pretty much everything I was doing, like all my book reports and everything in English class, were all books that I had read the previous year. So I already still had all those book reports. So I'm just like, okay, just gonna recopy all this shit. And like most of my math and everything was the exact same. So I knew everything already. So I'd come into like math class and it'd be like, oh, where's your homework? I'd be like, boom, there you go. It'd be like, oh, it took me hours to do this. I'm like, it took me fucking 15 minutes. I'm like, I did in study hall before this, like, and then God, the stupid kids in class, and like, not the mentally, like, just the stupid fucking kids that are like, I can't figure out what X is. Why does 1 plus X equal 4? How am I supposed to figure this out? And it's like, what plus 1 equals 4, dumb fuck? I'm just sitting there like banging my head off the wall, and they're like, I couldn't figure it out. I'm just like, God, just please let me answer the goddamn question.
Yeah, my high school years, I moved probably, I don't know, about 6 different times. And each school, I don't know how many times I fucking read, or saw the movie like To Kill a Mockingbird or Lord of the Flies or what have you. And every time you had to do book reports, and I'd sleep through everything, the class, the movie, everything. And I would pass everything. And people, my classmates were always so pissed at me. And then my junior and senior year of high school, I only went half a day, 8 to like noon. And the rest of the time I was in college. So I was doing high school and college at the same time. So
yeah, my junior year.
My junior and senior year were like a cakewalk for me.
Yeah, my senior year I was stuck there all day because I just moved and stuff and didn't have a car when I moved and everything. But my junior year, I had a vehicle and I had set up my junior year perfectly. So in the morning I had all my because junior year I think was the first year we actually got to really fully choose our classes. So I set up all my English, my history, all that important shit. I stacked in at the beginning of the day, and so the rest of the day, after lunch, was just shop class or home ec or whatever, right? And I had shop class pretty much every single day, and that rounded out my day. And our shop teacher was cool as shit. He'd just be like, "Fuck it, you guys already know what you're doing. Literally, you work at a body shop. You know what you're doing around vehicles. Do whatever you want to do. If you're still here at the end of the day, cool. If you're not, I don't really care." So we'd go to lunch. I'd wrap that up. Usually I have a study hall or home ec or something. Something I was like, yeah, I feel like cooking cookies today and getting a second lunch in or something like that. And then be like, oh, shop class. If I want to hang out and work on a vehicle or something like that, I could. Or if I just want to be deuces, I'm out early. Like I could go and leave. It was
Yeah,
awesome.
I took ag in high school, and my teacher was a douchebag. And every time something needed to be welded or something, I couldn't do it, even though I had more experience than every classmate of mine because I was in college and I was taking welding classes while I was in college. And I never once got to weld anything in ag class. And when I finally did, just to piss him off, I came to school in shorts and flip flops and started welding. And he sent me to the office, and I told him what was going on. I said, I'm not taking this bullshit class anymore, especially if the teacher's going to be a dick, because I have more experience than anyone in that class. And so what they did is they put me in gym class, which was a fuck off class anyways, and I already had the credit for it. So they just gave me the credit for the ag for it, so I didn't give a fuck.
Oh.
In
That works
sixth
then.
grade, we were supposed to do a book report, and everyone got to go to the library, and they're like, pick any book you want. So I picked a Choose Your Own Adventure. And then it came time to turn in our book report, so I did. And the teacher's like, you did a Choose Your Own Adventure? Ugh! I'm like, I read it 5 times. And I literally did. I chose different adventures, and that's what I wrote the book report about. And it was actually good. It was a good book report, and I ended up getting a decent grade on it. So fuck off. I win.
So in middle school, I actually got in good with the librarian because she was the one that had all the TVs and stuff. So when people would need TVs for watching movies or whatever, they had to go to the library, get them, and bring them to the different classes. So I was in the library every study hall because I enjoyed reading. That's just what I enjoyed doing. It wasn't even so much storybooks. I just love information books. So I was constantly reading books on cars and tanks and whatever else I could find, right? And so she saw that I was in there all the time, so she offered me that job, quote unquote. So I got to leave my final class every single day early and go collect all the TVs in the school. So I got out of the class 30 minutes early to go collect everyone's TVs. It was the best. But I remember her coming to bat for me because it was 7th grade. I was in study hall, and I had gotten a book out on Navy SEALs or something, right? And I'm flipping through the books in study hall, and on one page has a Navy SEAL coming out of the water. On the other page has an MP5 SD, and it has all the technical stats on it. Well, I'm sitting there reading this book, and all of a sudden I get grabbed by my collar, and this fucking substitute teacher's like, "You're coming to the principal's office right now with me." And I'm like, "For fucking what?" I'm like, "What did I do wrong?" Granted, normally I am in trouble for something, but legitimately the one time I'm just sitting here reading a book, I haven't done anything wrong. She's like, "You're reading books on guns in school." And I'm like, "Yeah, because I got it from the library." And so as she's dragging me up, she has the book with her. And literally, if you look at the back of the book, it says that it's from our school library. She's like, "I don't believe you. You're reading this type of stuff. This is propaganda, paraphernalia, blah, blah, blah." So she brings me into the principal's office. Principal's not in. So she's sitting there with me, waiting with the receptionist. I'm like, "Would you look at the back of the fucking book?" And the librarian walks by, and she's like, "Dan, what are you doing in here?" I'm like, "I got in trouble for reading one of your books." She's like, "Which one?" And I'm like, "Show her." And she's like, "Oh yeah, that's one of my books." And so instantly, I'm like, Jesus Christ. And I had no clue who that substitute teacher was. I never saw her again, but I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I remember, I don't know if it was 8th grade or 9th grade I was in when Columbine happened. Might have been 10th, I don't fucking remember. But 2 of my friends, they used to like wearing the trench coats and everything.
Yep.
And they came, after that happened, they came to school wearing their trench coats like they have done before. And they just had a conversation about different guns. And once that happened and they got turned in by some teacher, I didn't see them for a fucking year and a half.
Jesus.
I don't know what happened. I think they were sent to alternative school, where the cops are actually there watching you doing, everything.
Yep.
But yeah, I didn't see them for a long ass time. And all they did was have a conversation.
there was a kid at my junior high whose dad was in prison, and he had a broken high point, and the kid was like, he brought his broken high point to school to show it off, and then of course like showed too many kids. Everyone's talking about it. Teachers find out, search his locker, find the high point. Never saw Russell again.
Yeah.
Poor kid.
I almost got kicked out again, like 7th or 8th grade. I forget exactly when. I think it was 7th grade again. But my science teacher, because we were partnered together. It was science class. We had to build basically like a robot, but not really an actual like with a mousetrap type situation or something. But of course, us being young kids, we're like, oh, we can get really creative with this. Your creative juices start flowing, right? You're like, oh, we can create robots and stuff, and we'll get all this stuff together. And it was right at the time that like BattleBots, the TV show, was like a big thing. And so we were just talking. We're like, oh yeah, we could build a BattleBot and like have it have like a drill on it, and it could like drill into the other robot and like drop like an M80 into it or something like that and destroy it or something. Like we were talking about this on our own. Like after we did our school project, we're like, yeah, we'll do the school project, but then we'll get good at it and we'll build a BattleBot on our own. And she heard us talking about this, and she's like, you're welcome, the principal. You're going to get expelled. And we're like, for what? You're talking about playing around with grenades. And we're like, no, we're talking about playing around with M80s. Big difference. There's a big gap in explosive potential there. And she went off. Like, she went off on us. And, like, I remember my dad coming in. He was like, why is my kid in trouble again? And she was telling him, she's like, oh, he's talking about sitting there building robots that are going to be throwing grenades. And he goes, it's an M80. That's far from a grenade. Like when I was a kid, I played with half sticks of dynamite. He basically just told her, shut the fuck up. He's like, believe me, he doesn't have access to grenades. I wish he had access to grenades because grenades would be cool, but he doesn't have access to grenades.
The funny thing about that Russell kid, the very first motorcycle I ever rode when I was like 12 was at Russell's house, and it was his dad's who was in prison. And I was the only one, because it was like they had a 125 and a 250 and a 400, right? And no one was tall enough to fit on the 400 at 12 years old except for me. And I fucking whiskey throttled that shit through like a giant oak bush. Oh my god, dude. I had like 1,000 cuts on me.
I bet.
Speaking of M80s, when I was in middle school, and the school that I attended was actually a 2-story, but it was a small 2-story. But there was this kid, I don't remember his name, but yeah, we didn't see him. I didn't see him ever again. He took several of those M80s and lit them and flushed them down the toilet on the second floor.
Oh god, dude.
And it exploded the fucking toilet. It flooded the entire second floor, and it was raining down the walls and shit on the first floor.
Jesus. Yeah.
How many kids went to your guys' high school?
Well, the high school I graduated from, my graduating class was only like 32, 35 maybe. I don't remember.
Yeah, the one I technically the one I ended up graduating from, the one I moved to my senior year, that was 700, I want to say, was in my graduating, like 710, something like that was in the graduating class. Between 700 710. The school I came from, that was like 12 or 1,300 kids.
Yeah, that's how big my class had. 1,200 kids. The school had 4,000 something people. Like the class that I was in was the biggest class that they ever had. The year below me, they had another high school, so it was like 700 kids in the class below me. And then by the time I graduated, like there was another school too. So there was 3 high schools by the time I graduated in the town that I was in. But there was only one high school my freshman year.
Yeah, where I came from in Rhode Island, we were one high school, but it was 2 middle schools that went into that high school, so it was pretty big. And then our high school was a massive campus. And then when I moved out here to PA, it was a much smaller high school. Like I thought it was, when I first pulled up day one, I'm like, oh, I guess that's an okay sized high school. And then they're like, oh no, it's the middle school and the high school all in one. I'm like, holy fuck, this is small then.
Yeah. Every school I attended except for one was pretty much a barely a 2A school, so very small. But I did go to one in the town I was actually born in, and that was a massive fucking campus, dude. It was a 5A school, and I never put my books in a locker. I always had to carry every single fucking book in my backpack because I literally had one class, English class, on the east side of campus, and I would have to go immediately to my next class, which was on the other side, on the west side of campus. And I was always late to that class because it was so fucking huge. And, they only allowed, so many minutes in between bells, and I was always late.
Dude, there's a high school out here, Cherry Creek High School. And I don't know how big it is now, but back when I was in school, they were 3 times as big as the school that I went to. So we had 1,200 kids in our class. They had like 3,500 kids in each class. And
Jesus.
like the school itself it looked like a college campus, right? Like they had like separate buildings, and like you had like an outside area that you could walk in between the buildings, and depending on where you had dude, that thing was like a college.
That's how my high school I came from was we had, it wasn't like an actual campus, but we had when you pulled up on the right hand side was it like this big cylindrical building that was 3 stories. It had its own gymnasium in it and everything. And that was essentially for all the freshmen. Like your freshman year, that's where you went. Like it even had its own cafeteria, everything in it. You really had no reason to ever cross over into the other building. Very rarely would you ever have any reason to do that. Maybe for like special assemblies or something like that. But then once we moved in like sophomore year and junior year when I was there, you were pretty much in the other building, but every single year I had one class that was always stuck in that freshman building for whatever reason. Like they couldn't find the room in this building, so they would stick it over there. And to your point, Corey, like it was always whenever you were on the far side of this building, your next class was on the far side of that fucking building.
Yeah.
And it was like you're sitting there and you're like, oh cool, I get my 2.5 minutes to book it across campus. Like this is fun. And they had like this little bridge that would cross over for the winter time and whatnot. But you were always like on the first floor, and you're like, oh, cool. I have to go all the way up to the second floor and try to get up there through the crowd and cross over, and then fuck this. Like always late for those classes.
Yeah,
thankfully, I think
that campus.
So like football, there was this team that you guys may have heard of, Columbine.
Don't remember what they're. Yeah.
It was the same school that got shot up.
Mm-hmm.
So that happened while I was in high school. I knew the jock kids because I played football against them that drove those kids to shoot everybody, and they were assholes. They were all like the sons of iron workers who their dad would come home and beat the fuck out of them and shit when they got home.
Mm-hmm.
And then they come to like football practice and take it out on the other, like the football games and take it out on the other teams and stuff. They were like hands down the best football team in the state, and they weren't even the biggest school or anything. Like Cherry Creek was way bigger, but Columbine, dude, those kids, no wonder those guys fucking shot that school up.
Yep. I was gonna make a dark joke, but
you should make a dark joke.
I was just gonna say, like, wonder if they kept their championship team afterwards or not.
They did actually. They won state 5A that year and the next year.
Damn.
If you can dodge double A, you can dodge a linebacker.
Damn it, man. Fuck. Oh, that's great. But yeah, I hated that big fucking school. There was way too many people and just so much bullshit. And one good thing about that school, they always did like foreign exchange students. And one of my friends was actually from England. He, came over for, I don't remember why, but he was pretty cool. And then we had 3 or 4 students that came over from Germany. And dude, they would always bring chocolate to school for people to try and stuff. That was actually from Germany. Man, that was some of the best fucking chocolate I've ever had
It's
in my
so
life.
different. My sister went there because she did back when she was in college. She did like I think it was like a semester abroad in I want to say it might have been like Latvia or something like that, like one of those Eastern European countries that no one's ever heard of. But when she was coming back, she did a stay over in Germany, so she brought us German chocolate, and like it is a completely different animal. But to your point with the foreign exchange students, so my senior year, we had foreign exchange students, and the one kid that came over was from Germany, and like super nice kid, super nice, but very trying to get accustomed to the world. So like we were all hanging out and stuff, me being dark humor, like, oh, we should all go over and like, watch a movie some night. Like just do like hang out as college kids, or high school kids, grab pizzas, watch a movie. I'll pick the movie. Okay, sounds good. So I chose Saving Private Ryan. And the fucking opening scene, watching his face just like just like deadpan, like, because I think he was expecting all of us to be pissed. I was just laughing my ass off, like, your people were dicks.
Damn. But yeah.
Then once he found out it was a joke, he's like, oh, like we don't really cover this that much, and like we just kind of learned that one of our leaders was kind of crazy for a while. Like,
right. I know Exit 343 a while ago made a comment referring that high school for them was a waste of time. I kind of felt the same about high school. To me, I was always bored. The shit was basically shit that I've gone over many times because I transferred school to school quite a bit growing up, and I just felt like I didn't need to be there. I graduated high school with a 3.9 something GPA, almost a 4.0, and I should have tested out early, to be honest. But that's why I was doing college at the same time. Even in college, I maintained a 4.0 for 4 years. It was just all easy work. I used to sleep more than I actually participated in class, and I still fucking passed every time.
I had a friend who, like, Native American college scholarship thing that they get, and we thought he was dumb for doing it, but he dropped out freshman year of high school, got his GED, because that's super easy to get if you're smart at all. You can just take your GED test and pass it, and now you have your GED.
Yeah.
Went to college at the age of a freshman in high school, finished in 4 years, and when we were all like freshmen in college, he was like an engineer.
Damn.
Like, God damn it.
I probably could have done that if I really wanted to, but I was a kind of hellion growing up, so I was in and out of trouble a lot. I never like cop trouble. I've never been arrested or anything. I was just a little shithead. And I probably should have done that. That way I could have had better shit planned. But I chose to just have fun with friends and fuck off.
yeah, I did the same. I chose to have fun with my buddies and stuff and fuck. And honestly, I mean, same concept. Like, there's nothing that I can think of going back to high school where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm really glad I learned this in that class because I still use it today.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of maybe like Spanish initially, maybe. But I mean, from the high school aspect, like, and granted, I mean, I don't hang out with any of those people still. I'm not one of those people that's like, oh yeah, I still hang out with my high school friends. But I mean, some of those people from that time I still associate with occasionally. Actually, like the only real person I speak to would graduate the year before me. But I think more of what high school for me was just social interaction. That was really it. That's the most I took from it, was like how to socialize more, I guess.
Yeah.
Which I probably would have gotten without high school, but whatever. But that being said, we've been going for about an hour and a half. I think we're gonna wrap. I still gotta do laundry tonight, so I'm probably gonna wrap this chat up here. But anyone in the comments? I think we only got one viewer right now. Still, I think some people have fallen off. But Appreciate you gents showing up. And
Oh, yeah.
if anyone does have comments or things they want to discuss next week, drop them down below. And yeah, thanks all for showing up and stopping
I'm
by.
always down for a good conversation.
Awesome. Well, we'll probably continue this on Tuesday. So, but anywho, guys, yeah, glad you stopped by Exit 343. Chat with y'all later on.
All right.
Deuces.
Later.